Thank you.
Okay, we'll have a few minutes kirtan and then we can carry on. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Swami
Iti
Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste
Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Nitai Gaura Hari Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai
Jai
Gaura.
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Gaura Premanandi,
Hari
Hari.
Hari 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 Bol.
You can say the prayers, Prabhu.
Maybe one of the devotees they can say. Jai Shri Mataji or Pramod Prabhu, do you want to say the prayers? You need to unmute.
Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Paramahams Viraja Kacharya Stotra Satta Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Padaya Paramahams Viraja Kacharya Stotra Satta Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Pata Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Pata Raghunatha Sat Goswami Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद की गौरतन की जय नवदीप मायपुर धाम की जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी देवी की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय Kure Praminanda, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Padhi Jai.
Yes, so the actually topic I had spoken last week was on time. How time is described in our scriptures and different aspects of time. So often, time is generally associated with destruction. We think of time as with time, things deteriorate. But our scriptures explain that time plays a important role in creation as well. I mean, as far as destruction is concerned, Lord Krishna, he says in Gita that Kalosmi Lokakshaya Krut Pravruddho, that time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds. And this is in chapter 11 that Lord says that I have come here to destroy all people with the exception of the Pandavas. So, but time, as I mentioned, it plays a big role in creation as well. In Brahma Samhita, verse 7, it says, Tyakta Kalam Sisirikshaya, that Lord releases his energy of time. And how the creation happens is like you have the unmanifested material nature in the form of Pradhan. And when Pradhan is activated with the time energy of the Lord, the modes of material nature appear, and then it is transformed into Mahat Tattva, and then subsequent stages of transformation of Mahat Tattva results in the production of mind, sense devtas, the 10 senses and intelligence, and the tanmatras and cross elements. So in each transformation, actually, time plays a very, very important role during creation. Now, in first canto, 13th chapter, Vidura, as we know, he visits after the Kurukshetra war, he visits the Pandavas again, primarily with the motive to rescue his blind brother Dhritarashtra, to wake him up from his slumber and to encourage him to at least take to spiritual life now at the fag end of his life. So he speaks certain verses in the first canto 13th chapter, which describe the characteristics of time. So he says, Evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tad ihaya atyakramad avigyatah kalah param dustarah. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thought. So he describes one characteristic of time is that time is imperceptible. Like we have, different senses which can perceive different things. For example, our eyes can perceive form. Our ears, they can perceive sound or space. Skin can perceive touch. But as far as time is concerned, time, there is no sense which can perceive time. We perceive time only by its effects. We can judge time only by its effects. Otherwise, it's just imperceptible. Imperceptibly, time is making everyone, old. Srila Prabhupada in his, Hindi lectures, he would say, "Samay sabko chupchap boodha bana deta." That, time, it makes imperceptibly everyone old. There is a very nice verse which Sripad Shankaracharya, he says, Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vriddho yati grihitva dandam tadapi na munchat asha pindam. So what time does is explained in this beautiful verse. It says Angam galitam. Angam, we need understand what is anga is our limbs. So Angam galitam. So time, what it does is it weakens all our limbs. Angam galitam. And mundam, palitam mundam, our head. So the head has, it becomes, the hair turns gray, or we become bald. So Angam galitam palitam mundam. Then dashana vihinam jatam tundam. The tundam means the mouth. So the mouth has become toothless. Dashana vihinam. So what time does is our teeth fall off, from our mouth. Then vriddho yati grihitva dandam. And the old man, he walks holding a stick. Dandam means stick. So vriddho yati, vriddho means old person, yati means he walks, grihitva means holding dandam, a stick. And the final part is interesting, that tadapi na munchat asha pindam, that the old man, he is not able to carry, he needs like a stick to carry his own weight, but still he is carrying the burden of his desires and ambition. See, he is not able to carry the weight of his own body, but still he is carrying the weight of all hopes and desires, even in old age. It's not that one becomes old, then he becomes automatically detached. If one has not cultivated Krishna consciousness in his life, then whatever you have cultivated, that uh, thing will you will carry into your old age as well. So there's a nice verse that time is imperceptible, and imperceptibly it is making each one of us old. Then second characteristic of time is that time is insurmountable. It's dustaraha. Bhishma Dev, he speaks one verse to the Pandavas uh, in the first canto itself, in the 9th chapter. He says, that the Pandavas, they were very, very righteous people. They were on the side of Dharma. Then why they had to suffer so many reverses in their life? So he speaks this verse, that sarvam kalam kritam manye bhavatam yad cha yad apriyam sapalo yad vashe loke vayoriva khanavali. In my opinion, this is all due to the inevitable time under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. So the clouds may be very, very big, but what happens is, like when the wind blows, the cloud is driven away. Big, big clouds, they're driven away. They can't stand in force in front of the force of the wind. Similarly, Lord Kapil Dev, he says that as a mass of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the powerful strength of the time factor by which he is being carried. So no one can overcome the influence of time by any amount of planning. And Srila Prabhupada, he mentions in the purport, actually in the first canto, that in India they have like a planning commission which plans for 5 years, makes plans for the country for 5 years. So one time this chairman of planning commission, he left his home and he died on the way. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that the chairman of planning commission, he had to leave by the influence of time without completing his plans. So just as the big, big clouds are, driven away by wind, similarly, no amount, time is dustara. It's, nobody can overcome the influence of time by any amount of planning. And there's another nice verse which Vidura mentions to Dhritarashtra, that this frightful situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as eternal time that has approached all of us. So when we see, anybody may have whatever his plans, but time overcomes everyone. Another interesting thing is, which I heard, recently, is that our future, what things which are going to happen in future, they're not fixed. They're ever changing. So it depends on the choices we make in our life, which decide what is going to happen in future. And in support of this, there are at least two pastimes. One pastime is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's a pastime when the king, the Muslim king, he sends 2 boatloads of soldiers to the place where Srivas and his brothers are there, and everybody is saying that because you were doing kirtan so loudly that the king, he became he has become angry, and he has sent all these boatloads of soldiers, and now he's going to throw Srivas out of his home. And so at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is there at Srivas' place, and he says to Srivas that, "Oh Srivas, are you afraid of something? I have heard that the king's boat has arrived for your arrest." And then Lord Chaitanya says that, although I'm unattached, in my form as the super soul, I reside in the hearts of all living entities in the universe and make them wander by my own will. Without my inspiration, no one is able to act in any way. If I have the king make an order to arrest you, then only he will be able to do so. That the king, basically Lord Chaitanya is saying that unless the super soul sanctions or super soul inspires the king, then only he will be able to arrest Srivas. But then Lord Chaitanya, interestingly, he says that even if that does not happen, that even if I don't if inspire him for arresting you, and he still arrests you, if against my inspiration and independent will as the super soul, without being directed, the king or independently orders your arrest, then what I will do is I'll be the first to board the boat and present myself before the king. And then I'll make the king, come down from his throne. I'll bewilder him and drag him down, because I'm the Lord of innumerable universes and the supreme controller of all controllers. Therefore, the king will not be able to remain seated on his throne. And then again, he says that, interestingly, if that does not happen and he still decides to question, that why you're chanting this, name of Hindu gods loudly, then Lord Chaitanya says that if king has other ideas and he questions me, then please hear what I decide to do. I'll tell the king that bring all your mullahs and qazis to ascertain the truth. And I'll tell the king that bring all your elephants, horses, animals, and birds you have, and instruct your qazis to recite your scriptures and make these creatures cry. If they are unable to do this, then what I will do is I'll tell the king, you dare to stop Sankirtan on the advice of these fellows, these qazis and mullahs. But now behold my power, and I'll gather all the elephants, horses, deer, and birds and induce them to chant the name of Krishna and cry. I will induce everyone to chant the name of Krishna. And he then tells Srivas Thakur that if you don't believe what I'm saying, then he tells his niece, Srivas' niece, Narayani, she's just 4-year-old. She's a small girl nearby. And Lord Gauranga tells her that chant the name of Krishna and please, oh Narayani, chant the name of Krishna and cry. So in this pastime, basically we see that Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, although he is the Supreme Lord, he has given multiple scenarios of what can happen. So it's not like the future is fixed, that Srivas only, it is my desire and only this thing is going to happen. But we see that depending on how the jivas act, then multiple scenarios can happen. So it is very interesting that our future is not fixed. It can change based on the activities we do, based on the choices we make. And of course, as we know, as we read in Brahma Samhita and other scriptures, that indeed by bhakti, our outlook in life, it changes. And if we had not come to the path of bhakti, we would have probably been driven by our, previous conditionings and made certain choices. But when we come to the path of bhakti, it gives us more, it makes us independent, makes us free from these conditionings, and enables us to take, right decisions in our life, to change our behavior. And obviously, this also leads to a change in our destiny. And of course, bhakti itself is so powerful that we know karmani nirdhanti kintu bhakti bhajam. So if we were supposed to, as Srila Prabhupada would say, that if you're supposed to meet a very dangerous accident or something, you may just have, a cut on your finger or something. So that is something interesting about time and how our future is not fixed, unlike what we think, that probably we're just driven by our destiny and we don't have independent control over it. But by bhakti, by process of bhakti, we can overcome we can have a better future as well. Another characteristic of time is that yena chaiva abhipannah evam pranai priyatamahi api janah sadyah viyujyeta kim ut anyahi dhana adibhi. Whoever is under the influence of supreme kal, whoever is under the influence of supreme time, eternal time, must surrender his most dear life. What to speak of other things such as wealth, honor, children, land, and home. So because of influence of time, one has to surrender everything. If one does not surrender to Krishna voluntarily, involuntarily, one will be forced at the time of death to surrender everything. And as time, it takes away everything. This material, not only wealth, honor, children, land, and home, but this dearmost life that is taken away from us. Our body is taken away from us. Srila Prabhupada, he wrote a poem in Vrindavan. This was during his Vanaprastha time, or when he had left his family and his he used to have a factory for making medicines, pharmaceutical, and his own servants had cheated and looted everything. So Srila Prabhupada wrote this particular poem in Vrindavan. I'll just read the translation. That upon seeing me without material assets, everyone, including my family, near ones, and brothers, have left me. Upon bearing such suffering, I get amused. Alone, I sit down and laugh. Who are my loved ones in the material world? Where have my mother, father, and my beloved ones gone? Where did my elders and relatives go? Who will give me news on them? Please tell me. Only thing remaining from them in this planet is their names. So we find that with influence of time, 100 years down the line, no one will even know that we existed on this planet. Unless you are a great devotee, the people, they just become, a list of names in history. When Ambarish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, he met Srila Prabhupada first time. Alfred Ford was the great grandson of Henry Ford. Henry Ford, as all of you know, he revolutionized, the making of cars. So Srila Prabhupada, when he saw Alfred Ford, he asked him, the first thing he asked is, like, where is Henry Ford today? And Alfred Ford was speechless. Ambarish Prabhu was, but it struck him that, however famous one may be, however wealthy one may be, ultimately everybody becomes, just a name in the history. So time takes away everything, except actually time cannot touch one certain thing. Time has no control, no jurisdiction over one thing, and that is our spiritual assets. Time cannot take away our spiritual, whatever progress we make in spiritual life. Time cannot touch that. Lord Krishna says that Swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya, that even if you make slight endeavor in this path, then in the next life you start from where you left off. So time can never touch whatever spiritual progress we have made, and it cannot break our relationship with the Lord. Time can at most cover our our relationship with the Lord is eternal, and it may become covered by influence of time, but it can never be broken. So if we utilize our time carefully according to the timeless wisdom of scriptures, then actually we can go beyond time. Srila Prahlad Maharaj, he says in the 7th canto that Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapya Adhruvam Arthadam. Although the human life, it is temporary, but there are very two important things. First of all, the human life is very, very durlabh. It is difficult to obtain. And it is arthadam. Arthadam means it is very, very useful. How it is useful? He says that even a slight amount of sincere devotional service done in this life. Artha actually means, benefit or something which is useful or meaningful. So although the human life is very, very, it's temporary, it is adhruvam, but it is arthadam. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. And the human body is most rarely achieved. So we find that, as Vrindavan Chand Prabhu has been, taking you through nectar of devotion and nectar of instruction, we find that one characteristic of devotees, of advanced devotees, especially those who are actually on bhav stage, it's mentioned that their characteristic is avyartha kalatvam, that they don't waste even a moment. And we know Srila Prabhupada, how judiciously he would use his time and how meticulous he was in his time management. Even when he would go on morning walks, which was for the sake of his body, but still he would utilize that time in speaking about Krishna Katha. Or even while he was being massaged, he would speak about Krishna. And even like, all our acharyas, they were so, they didn't waste any time. Like we read about Raghunath Das Goswami or Rupa Goswami or Sanatan Goswami, they would be so absorbed in their Krishna consciousness that they didn't, they would forget to sleep, or they would, forget to eat, or they didn't eat much, because they thought that let's not waste that much time also in eating and sleeping. So they use their time very, very judiciously, because everybody, one who is born, he has like, certain number of breaths uh, he is allotted during his life. That I mean, when we are born, our lifespan is fixed. The number of breaths we are allotted is fixed, and that's why yogis, they can control their breath, and they can extend their lifetime, because uh, if you hold your breath, then obviously your lifespan will increase, or you can live that much longer. But ultimately, it's not a question of just living longer, it's a question of how we utilize our time. As everybody does, whomever we love, we try to give them quality time. We like to spend quality time with those whom we love. So similarly, in our bhakti, we have to give quality time to our time which we devote to Krishna, because everything will go, only Krishna is going to come with us. Ultimately, nobody can save us. As we see in the pastime of the elephant Gajendra, Gajendra, the mighty elephant, uh, when he was in the, hold of that crocodile, all his wives, his brothers, and his friends, his children, all of them were there. And however, they also tried to rescue Gajendra, but nobody could save him. So, and same thing, like we see Draupadi, she had, five very, very illustrious husbands, but at the time of need, nobody could rescue her when Dushasana was trying to pull the sari. So it's only Krishna who is, all powerful, and who is capable of taking us out of this clutches of time. So in our life, we have to somehow, realize that Krishna is our only shelter, and he is the person whom we should repose all our love. And that's why we have to give quality time to our sadhana. So we have to give our best time, our for our chanting, or for whenever we are, doing any kind of devotional service. Let's try and give our best quality time to Krishna. And COVID, this situation of COVID is a blessing in disguise for devotees, that now, uh, we have so much more time than we normally used to have before. We used to spend, few hours at least in traveling to and from to work, and now we have more time, so we can utilize this free time to go deeper in our reading, in our, our hearing and chanting. Having free time is actually, Radhanath Maharaj says that having free time is not an opulence but a great danger. If we have too much free time, then we can definitely go in ignorance. We can either elevate ourselves by utilizing that time, properly, or we can degrade ourselves by wasting or going in ignorance or passion. And it's the nature of mind that it makes unimportant things as important. Often you will notice, when you're chanting, the mind will start, saying, oh, you need to finish this thing, you need to finish that thing, you need to reply to that WhatsApp message, or you need to reply to that email. And as soon as the chanting is finished, it will forget about all those things which it was prompting during chanting. So it's the nature of mind that it magnifies things which are unimportant as important. So with constant practice and detachment, we have to fix our mind. And therefore, in the first canto, there is a very nice verse which Srila Prabhupada used to quote quite often in his lectures, that tasyeva hetu prayetet kovido na labhyate yad brahmatam upariyadha tallabhyate dukhvad anyatah sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. That persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtained even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka to the lowest planet. So in this human life, we have, a chance to endeavor for Krishna consciousness, chance to get out of this cycle of birth and death, and chance to actually, by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we have the greatest opportunity to get love of God, which is not, easily available in other yugas also. And this love of God cannot be obtained by traveling, even to Brahmaloka or to the lowest planet uh, with whatever endeavor. As far as, and then another important point this verse says is, as far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. So no one goes, begging for miseries, except for devotees like Kunti Maharani, who are elevated, who pray to Krishna that, please give me miseries so that, I can remember you. But just as in course of time, we obtain miseries even without asking. So similarly, uh, whatever sense enjoyment is due to us, it will come in due course of time as ordained. We don't have to endeavor for that. But in human life, we should endeavor for something which can be obtained only during our in human life, and which cannot be obtained by going to Brahma Loka or other lokas. And as one important, very nice thing I came across is, like in Nectar of Instruction, we read of um, the 6 things, or different things, which can help us in our devotional, uh, uh, life, in our devotion, cultivation of devotion. And so we read about utsaha, dhairya, nishchayat, tat karma pravartanat. So we find that one should have enthusiasm, utsaha. But many times enthusiasm, it is colored by, it is motivated by passion. It can be out of passion, mode of passion. And other thing we hear in that verse is patience. Patience is like, you patiently waiting, but then that patience can come from mode of ignorance also, and because of complacency. So I mean, the verse, uh, it is saying, it appears that it is saying two conflicting things. One, it is saying that you should have utsaha, and second thing, it is saying that you should have patience. But how to have this uh, enthusiasm and patience, dhairya, uh, which are in mode of goodness. So the third very important thing actually that verse explains is nishchayat. Nishchayat means confidence. When one is confident in the process of bhakti, and when one is confident that that Lord Krishna is actually guiding me. Uh, when somebody takes to bhakti, then Lord Krishna intervenes in his life. It doesn't matter he's a small devotee or a big devotee, it doesn't matter. So if one has confidence in the process, and if one has confidence in the loving hand of the Lord, then actually he can combine both this utsaha and dhairya in the mode of goodness, rather than out of mode of passion or mode of ignorance. If one is confident that uh, Krishna is my ever wisher, and he has the best, he has created in my life the best situation for my purification, and he has the best plan and the fastest plan to take me out of this material world. Srila Prabhupada would often say, that Krishna is more eager to take us out of this, take us back to him, than we are interested in going back to him. So if we have this confidence in Lord Krishna and the process of bhakti, then we can actually uh, do our endeavor in bhakti with enthusiasm and patience. It's like, if you're going to a certain place, if you know the road very well, then you can drive really fast. But if you are unsure of the path, then you will drive very slowly, and you'll be looking here and there and checking whether I'm going on the correct path or not. So if we have confidence that bhakti is the right path, and 11th canto, actually there is a very nice verse in glorification of bhakti, that bhakti is such a path that even if one runs blindfolded on the path of bhakti, there is no danger of falling down or slipping, because a path of bhakti is guaranteed by Krishna himself. So as part of this COVID, many devotees, they have uh, many dear devotees, they have left untimely, and we definitely feel separation from all these wonderful devotees. But at the same time, we should know that Krishna is the best judge. He knows what is best for each devotee, and he is the best plan for all of us. Lastly, it's interesting to speak about the time both in the other lokas, in the higher realms of this material world, and the time in spiritual world. So time in spiritual world, we have heard, uh, it's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in his books and his lectures, that time is conspicuous by its absence in spiritual world. But at the same time, we find that, Lord Krishna has his Ashtakalya Leela. Ashtakalya Leela is like, there are 8 different times of the day at which Lord Krishna and Radharani, they meet and they perform different pastimes. So if time is not present, then how is it possible to perform Ashtakalya Leela? So one thing so it's quite inconceivable, how time might be there in the spiritual world. But one thing we know for sure is that in spiritual world, time doesn't have the destructive effect as it has in this material world. And another interesting thing I was hearing regarding this time in higher lokas is Like we know that whether it's Brahma or whether it's an insect, all of them, live for 100 years, at most 100 years of their lives. You know, uh, of course, these 100 years they differ. For an insect, his 100 years may be just 12 hours of our time. And for Brahmaji, it's like, it extends over millions of years, billions of years, not, not actually millions. It's many, many billions, trillions of years, his lifetime. So, uh, but Brahmaji also lives only for 100 years of his time. So then if we compare time of Brahmaji with a human being who has 100 years, then how does it, uh, relatively it appears that, they're living for 100 years of their lifetime. So what is the difference? So the difference is like, we can understand that in 1 hour of Lord Brahmaji, he can actually achieve quite a lot as compared to what we can achieve in our 1 hour. And like, it's mentioned that, in higher planetary systems, or they have higher sense gratification and other things. So how does that work? The quality of gratification may be, more or less the same, but it's like, because the time, it goes slowly. So as compared to our time, so their sense enjoyment can be over a greater length of time, because time relatively, it's like, it's explained that it's like having 1/4 slice of a big cake, which is the time for Lord Brahmaji, and it's 1/4 part of a slice of cake, or that would be the humanly time on the earthly realm. So relatively, objectively, it is probably same, but subjectively, it is different in different realms. But anyways, this situation of COVID, it shows us that how however advanced, human beings, they may think they have become, a simple virus, which you can't even see, even what to speak with naked eye, even with, ordinary microscope, probably you can't see such viruses, and how they can cause havoc in the whole human society. And the all with all the science and everything, mm, nobody can easily overcome. So the power of nature, the power of material energy of the Lord is so unsurmountable. Uh, no matter, how advanced the medical science becomes, such diseases will continue to come in future as well. And uh, we can lose our life at any time. So being aware of, as Govinda says, that Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala, just like, a drop of water. If you see a lotus leaf, sometimes, there is a drop of water, and it's just, moving around on that lotus leaf. And after some time, you never know when it is going to fall off. So similarly, we don't know when, our time will come. It is not necessary that one will die in old age. We have seen so many young devotees. Here we had like one devotee who was just 35 years old, and he had a wife and a little child, and he suddenly left. He suddenly died of this virus, and we can see that its situation is very, very uncertain. So we have to utilize our time very, very capriciously, and knowing that, at least a lot of us are now above 50. So the notice of old age and death is already there, or some of us maybe in 40s. So we have to, become very, very serious and in taking association of devotees and going deeper in our own devotional service, uh, and in our developing our love towards loving service to the Lord, so that we shouldn't have any regrets at the end of life that I wasted when I had the chance, when my body was uh, strong. I wasted my time, searching, running after the mirage of happiness in this material world. Uh, I think one devotee was telling me that they asked Kulangna Mataji on her deathbed that if she had any regrets. And she said, I have no regrets because I never wasted any time. I utilized my time in service of the Lord. It is sad, that for a materialist, he has his drishti, he has his eye on sense gratification. But then, this all the sense gratification, it becomes smriti, it becomes just a memory after some time. And for a devotee, so for a materialistic person, the drishti becomes smriti. The whatever things they want to enjoy, they ultimate become memories, and as time passes, they become very, very painful memories, because he starts hankering for more and feels separation from those times. However, in case of devotee, he's remembering Krishna. His smriti is on Krishna, and at the end of this life, Krishna will come in his drishti. Krishna will come in his sight. So his smriti will become drishti, whereas for a materialist, his drishti becomes smriti, and then they continue to suffer in this cycle of birth and death. So I'll stop here. Actually, I've just kept going for a long time. If Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, you want to add any addition, comments? Prabhuji is gone. Anybody, any comments? Haribol.
You've covered so many angles of time, Hare Kirtan Prabhu. It was really interesting, the point you made about the spiritual world. There's no time there, but still there's different parts of the day. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, the Ashtakali Leela.
Yeah.
I was actually hearing Urmila Mataji, she mentioned that, many things we can't understand while we are, encased in this body. She was mentioning that many people who have near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences, they also experience this phenomena of, timelessness. So they may be out of the body just for a few hours, or, the near-death experience maybe for a few days. But then what the researchers have found that, they feel this condition of timelessness, and it's hard to conceive when we are in this body. So it's difficult to understand how time works in spiritual world, like how it is, conspicuous by its absence, but still then the Ashtakali Leela is happening, and we see that Krishna is walking from one place to another. So how does it happen, or are these Leelas happening all the time? And that's why it's like, all present. So that's inconceivable.
Yes, true. Thank you for that. We have Kishore Prabhu with his hands up.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. After so long, we are hearing. Yes, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu is engaging us all every time, interestingly. But hearing from you is also relishing all the time. Just one question I had. This is the initially when you spoke about the two incidents, two pastimes you gave it. And one thing you mentioned that was uh, like whatever choice we make based on that, our life path or our destiny could change. But like traditionally, we have been taught that when we are born, our destiny is already determined. So
Yeah.
how come
So
our choice would still change it?
what astrology teaches, what astrology tells us, is based on the conditionings we have developed in our past lives. That because these conditionings many times they're strong, and they may even force against our will to means normal person is driven by these proclivities or conditionings which he has developed over his lifetime. But by the process of coming into devotional service, we actually gain more, or by the intervention of a pure devotee, our life changes. In this, I forgot to mention the second incident, like in Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioned Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he's in Navdeep, he says that in in Varanasi, there is a sannyasi, who denies my form. I have put leprosy in his body. And later on, actually, Prakash becomes a devotee. He comes in touch with the Lord and he surrenders to the Lord. And we never read about, Prakash Nanda Saraswati getting leprosy in his life. So obviously his life changed based on, intervention of the Lord and his coming in touch with devotees. So we can see that when we come in touch with, with the path of bhakti, we gradually become free from this conditioning. We gradually become free from being, victimized by our conditionings, and we can make right choices. As well as, obviously, one very nice thing which I was hearing recently is like, uh, you know, uh, we have heard of the churning of the milk ocean, the pastime of churning of milk ocean. And when the devtas and demigods, they churned the milk ocean, what came out initially was halahal, was the deadly poison. And then the demigods, they all went to Lord Vishnu and asked him, what should we do? And Lord Vishnu, he said that you go to Lord Shiva, Mahadev. So when this pastime was being explained, one devotee, he asked Maharaj that, when we start this process of bhakti also, a lot of anarthas come out, which we were not aware of. We see how much envy, pride, illusion, lust, greed, anger, all these things are in there in our heart. With bhakti, what it does, it makes us aware of these presence of these things. So he was asking to Maharaj that, when these things, we become aware of these things, so should we go to worship Lord Shiva? What should we do? And Maharaj gave an interesting answer, and very, very, actually, very thought-provoking answer as well. He said that, like Mahadev, Shivji, he's like a greatest of the Devtas. He's like a guru for all the Devtas. So when the Devtas, they approached Lord Vishnu directed them to Lord Shiva, who is like guru for all the Devtas. That's why he's known as Mahadev. All the other demigods are known as Devtas, and Shivji is known as Mahadev. So similarly, when all these things arise in our heart, we should take shelter of spiritual master. And very one important thing he mentioned is that just as Lord Shiva, he drank the poison, the deadly poison. When we take initiation from the spiritual master, when we take shelter of the spiritual master, the spiritual master has to drink the poison of our karma. We know that when we surrender to spiritual master. The spiritual master, he takes on our karma. So he takes the poison of our karma. So how careful we should conduct, once we decide to get initiated, or once we plan for taking initiation, we should be very, very intensely careful in our behavior, that our karma, our guru doesn't have to suffer our karma. So, but yeah, when we take initiation also, as I mentioned, our karmas are taken by guru. So that also changes our course of our life. There's one nice actually incident which Shrutakirti Prabhu he mentions. Shrutakirti Prabhu, those of you don't know, he was a personal servant of Srila Prabhupada. He served him for a few years. I mean, Srila Prabhupada had many servants during his, stay. Shrutakirti Prabhu is quite famous. So in Hawaii, Shrutakirti Prabhu, he was going in a car. They were going in a car. He, another devotee, and probably his wife. Some few devotees were at the back, and so they were going, through green light. They were going probably 60-70 miles through the traffic light, and suddenly, there was another car which didn't notice that the light was red, and it came full speed, and it just made a head-on collision with the car which Shrutakirti Prabhu and his devotee friend was going. And what happened during the collision is, like, the doors of Shrutakirti Prabhu's car, they flung open and they were thrown out of the car. But for the other people who were traveling in the car, they went through the windshield and they instantly died. And these devotees, they were saved because the car doors open and they just fell out of the car, and they didn't die in that accident. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Krishna saved you. He also mentioned in his purports, he was doing the translation of 7th canto, and he mentioned that today, Krishna saved you. You were supposed to die today, but somehow by intervention of Krishna, you were saved. So
thank you, Prabhu. That's interesting. Thanks.
Emma Mataji has got a hand raised also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat
Pranam. Dandavat Pranam to you, Prabhuji. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for a wonderful, nourishing class. Prabhuji, I was just thinking about time, and so we as kind of devotees, we understand the emergency. There is an emergency in terms of getting out of the material world. And we also understand that it's almost like a sword hanging on us and it could drop at any time. But when you're talking to people outside of the devotee community, especially when you're promoting the Srimad Bhagavatam, a distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, and young people are saying, no, we've got a long way to go before we are 60, and that's when we'll start reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. How do you then emphasize the importance of time and the emergency aspect of it all?
Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, would you like to answer? You are our Gomatsya leaders. You probably better position than me. Maybe you can speak something and then I can add.
Oh. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you just have to, that realization has to come by themselves. All we can do is point out our precarious position, how our time is so limited. But ultimately, it's for them to realize.
Okay.
For them to realize, and
because they are living in the now and the happiness that they're experiencing. And we're trying to say to them that, no, the Bhagavatam will help you to see what life is here and what life is beyond here.
Yeah, true. Also, we can, like Harikirtan Prabhu today in his class, he demonstrated that, sometimes we take things for granted in life. In the same way, we think we're going to live forever. We do not realize how limited our time is and how precious that time is. And it says, normally stories help a lot. If we can tell some stories, and I'm trying to think in my mind now how, of persons who wasted their time and then it was too late. I can't think of any of those past times. Harikirtan Prabhu, can you think of in the Bhagavatam of?
Not from Bhagavatam, Prabhu, but I mean, there is something which happened, and probably Mataji may already know the incident. There was a student in Bombay. I think he was in medical field or something, just 21 years old, and he had started to come to devotees, and he had even started chanting 16 rounds. But then when his final exam started, then he gave up the chanting, and he studied really hard. And then he probably came fast or something like that in merit. And then devotees had some program in the temple, and they asked him, why don't you come? Today we have kirtan at the temple. Why don't you come? He said, my friends, they have, uh, put up a party for this distinction in the exam. They have arranged a party for me in the club. So he decided not to come for kirtan to the temple or to be with devotees, and he decided to go and to that party. And he was just 21 years old, and that night he had, while dancing on the floor of wherever they were having the party, that he died. So see, if he had made the choice of going to the temple in the kirtan, he would have died in the association of devotees, and what his destination would have been. And instead, he died along with materials. He was just dancing with other materialistic friends, and then he died on the dance floor of that club or whatever. So how unfortunate, he would have never expected that I'm so young, I can die so soon. And especially in COVID, we see, there's so many cases. We have seen, especially in the second wave, which was really deadly, so many cases where 6-month-old son had to perform the last rites for his parents because everybody in the family died, and only the 6-month-old child is left. So what guarantee is there, that we are going to live, whole? And it's not only question of duration of our life, but it's also what we cultivate when we are young and when we have energy. That will, those conditionings will uh, be with us when we are in old age. It's very, very difficult to hard to change. Already our body is breaking apart, and at that time taking to spiritual life is so difficult. Ultimately, actually, we can, as Vrindavan Chandrabu said, we can point them into direction. We can tell them these stories to wake them and shake them up. But they need to have some sukruti, to take up spiritual life. We can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. So I think if they have some sukruti, then probably they will. Many times we find young people, they take seriously, but the way illusory, especially that's why Kunti Maharani says, that having too much wealth, education, beauty, and all these things, they cover our intelligence, and we are not able to see. Even though we see, we don't see. Pashyanapi na pashyati. that even though we see, there's so many problems in life. In India, you see the truth in naked form, but in Western world, it gets covered up because of materialism. The naked truth of death and old age and misery, all this, it gets hidden from the public eye. So it's not so obvious to see. But here you see poverty and all these problems, blatantly in the every day. So it's not so difficult for a person to believe that. But when you have a lot of wealth, prosperity around, then it tends to cover the spiritual vision of a person. So that way it is very, very hard. And ultimately we can do all this simultaneously. We can pray to Lord, to back to the Lord, to give them the intelligence. That's that's what I can say.
No, that's very useful. Thank you. Wonderful examples. So yeah, thank you. That's helped a lot. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Suparna Mataji also has a hand up. Maybe you can ask your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanwad.
Pranam. I have two questions, Prabhu.
Yes.
The first one is, and this question has come into my mind from Hema Mataji's question, and your response when you said we can tell stories and all, and you told us some nice stories. But then one can ask this question that, especially people that it seems Hema Mataji has come across who want to know why Bhagavatam. And you talk about life and all that. Like you said, quite rightly, it's also about the quality rather than looking at the age and all of that.
Quantity.
Very important. But the question is, end of the day, when they're asking you and you tell this particular story about this boy, is quite interesting. He had two choices, and yeah, it's not just one of those random ones. It's quite a special one. He has two choices just before his death, either to choose this side or that side. And doing 16 rounds is not a joke at all. Him touching that, the question is, why? I'm talking about very ignorant, random people. They can ask the question, why, how come, after going there, reaching that place, and having devotees association, having the books, chanting, why did he then choose the party?
The choice is always there, and with us, Krishna never takes the choice from us. That's the magnanimity of Krishna. And it may be because he was neophyte, and his other conditionings overwhelmed him, and he made that particular choice. So our conditionings may overwhelm us and make us do the wrong thing, even though we may know that it is not correct. So that's why it is very, very important for us to come to the point of nishtha. And speaking of the quality of life, there are we know that there are so many trees. I heard this in lecture, mentioned in lectures, that there are so many trees which live for 10,000 years, like they're redwood trees. Now they've been standing for 10,000 years in the same spot, and they have witnessed probably all the things which have happened on the earthly planet. But what have they done for the humanity? But we have people like Shankaracharya. He just lived 32 years. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was on this planet only for 48 years. Similarly, I think Jesus Christ was also there only for a short period of time, but they changed the course of the whole civilization. So it's the quality which matters, and ultimately, we have to take the association. Actually, why we make wrong choices is like we don't realize the importance of association of devotees. We don't realize the importance of path of bhakti, that how it can change the course of life. Having lack of faith in these, and it can one important thing I forgot to mention is I was mentioning utsaha, enthusiasm, and patience. So if you have too much of enthusiasm, if you are which is mode of passion, which can be out of mode of passion, then what will happen is like you will burn out. So if you try to do you try to take more than you can chew, as they say. So if you think, we find many people, they come to Krishna consciousness, and then they may give up everything. They may even become brahmachari and everything, and few years they will just do so much service, and then they leave, they burn out, and they leave. So that's out of mode of passion. Some people do. Other opposite end is mode of ignorance. So if you are if you are very slow in your spiritual life, if you are in more very complacent, what will happen over time is like you will lose taste for spiritual life. If we are not doing enough in our spiritual life, then we dry out. So we have to, everybody has a zone of complacency, he has a stretch zone, and he has a panic zone. So when we are in zone of complacency, if we remain in that, then we don't progress in spiritual life, and then spiritual life may become dry. You may lose taste for chanting, you may lose taste for reading, hearing, or association of devotees if you're too slow. And on the other hand, if you go too fast, you may burn out. So what we should try to do is remain in stretch zone. So then you can progress nicely. That was what I heard in a lecture by Urmila Mataji, which was a very nice point I think she made, that if you are just patient, you're very slow. Okay, when time will come, then Krishna will inspire, and I will read, and I'll chant, or then you may dry out, and people that way they sometimes leave Krishna consciousness. And one may wonder, many times there are initiated devotees like that who do that. And so we have to balance how we practice our spiritual life.
So प्रभु जी, ये क्वेश्चन आप बता, हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण
प्रभु जी, आपकी क्लास निकल गई बिल्कुल दिमाग से, मेरा वो भक्ति शास्त्री चल रहा था और वो 2:45 तक चला, बिल्कुल दिमाग से निकल गया, मिस कर दिया की क्लास।
कोई बात नहीं।
प्रभु जी, ये जो आपने बोला कि यदि कॉम्प्लेसेंसी, मतलब यदि हम आराम से भी रहते हैं तो भी वो भक्ति के लिए ठीक नहीं है, बिकॉज उससे एंथुसियाज्म जाता है।
If we are too slow or if we are too fast, both are not good. Okay. If we are too passionate and if we are too ignorant, both are not good for our spiritual life. We have to be in stretch zone, but we should not stretch beyond our limit. Otherwise, it will also cause havoc in our spiritual life.
Thank you, Rudy.
That's how. Very few of course, few of us go in the panic zone. Most of us are complacent. It's rarely, devotees go in the panic zone, but yeah, we should at least try to go in the stretch zone, not take it too lightly, then we'll lose taste for spiritual life, even though it's such a treasure we have got in life, such a priceless thing. But just by being, being very slow and being very complacent, we will lose the opportunity.
प्रभु जी एक हटके क्वेश्चन था, यदि आपको टाइम है बता सकते हैं 2 मिनट तो एक हटके क्वेश्चन ये था कि प्रभु जी
Suparna Mataji, she had a second question.
It's okay. You
Acha.
can let this
Okay,
Mataji,
Mataji.
because
Yeah.
I know Mataji, you can ask your question, because my question has been in my head for a long time now.
Okay,
Prabhu,
Mataji.
it's okay. She can ask.
Okay.
Okay. प्रभु जी, like अपने भक्ति की 9 प्रोसेस हैं, hearing, chanting, these things हैं, serving deities. So इन सब में कोई भी ऐसे जो आपको मतलब भक्ति में आपको जैसे ज्यादा बढ़ाती है, वो कर सकते हैं या सभी करना जरूरी है?
No. Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, would you like to answer this?
I didn't understand Hindi.
Yeah, I'll translate for you. What Mataji is asking is like the 9 processes of devotional service, and do we need to do all of them, or some of them doing some of them is sufficient?
Well, we know Prabhupada said just one of it has sufficient potency, to give us help us attain the highest stage of devotion. But, I had one senior devotee also mentioned, yes, if one is available, we do it. But if all is available, why not embrace it? So the idea is, it may not be so possible for us to perfect our devotion to just one of these items. So for us, we should try to perform all of the items. But we know Shravanam, Kirtanam is the most important. That's what Prabhupada stressed. So yes, we should try to follow all, but give particular emphasis to Shravanam, Kirtanam.
And actually, Mataji, she mentioned that if you like one particular process, is it okay to devote more time to that? So
if we feel that is going to really elevate us, we can dedicate more time. But we try to follow what our acharyas have given, and in particular, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada stressed to his followers Shravanam Kirtanam. So even if we may like some other items, and Prabhupada said everything comes from proper hearing and chanting, So we should follow the advice. Srila Prabhupada descended in this age of Kali to give us Krishna consciousness, and he stressed these 2 items. So yes, we can give emphasis if we like something, but we should also follow what Prabhupada told us, and in particular Shravanam Kirtanam.
Thank you, Ruji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Varna Mataji, do you want to?
Right. Yes, Prabhu. I just wanted to ask, can devotees have untimely death? That's it.
Yeah, see, as I mentioned, Krishna knows what is best for our spiritual life, where how we can progress really fast. Krishna has the plan for us, the custom-made plan for each jiva. Krishna is such a great person, he has a custom plan for each and every jiva on how fast that jiva can come back to him. And he knows what's best for our spiritual life. And if he thinks, the situation in life is that, one cannot make much progress in that situation, he may decide to move us and put us in a different situation. Or if we have, if somebody is very elevated, he may take him back to Godhead. During time of Srila Prabhupada, there was one man, a Muslim man. He was very interested in spiritual life, but his wife and children, they were not at all interested. And I think he was very inspired by Srila Prabhupada, and he would regularly come to the temple. But then he died very untimely. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned that his condition was not conducive. His social familial condition was not conducive for spiritual life. That's why Krishna has taken him to another situation where he will get better chance to grow in spiritual life. That's why he has died untimely death. So I mean, Krishna had when Krishna is our well-wisher, and he knows what's best for us. We should have that faith. And there is no question of the best thing of bhakti is there's no question of failure in path of bhakti. I've heard this nice example of Jatayu. That Jatayu, he died at the hands of Ravana. So Ravana, although he was a demoniac, materially he won. But ultimately, actually, Jatayu, although he died, he went back to the spiritual world. So materially, he may have failed, in rescuing Sita or saving Mother Sita. But by just carrying on with devotional service, he achieved perfection. So there's no question of failure in the path of spiritual life. That's the best part. And Krishna is actually really very merciful master. You can imagine how great Krishna is. Like in this universe, how many jivas are there, how many living entities are there, and Krishna is so, I mean, inconceivably so great that he has a custom plan for each and every jiva, to how to take that jiva back home, back to Godhead. So that only Krishna can do. And yes.
Sorry, Prabhu. Carry on.
Yes, so that's the point. I mean, we may not understand the situation why some devotee may pass, but ultimately, Krishna knows best.
Oh, yeah, Prabhu. On that point, for me, I mean, regardless of what is a subjective view I have, like I don't have any view on life and death anyway. Earlier, when you were speaking, you said some of the devotees have died untimely. And that question went through my mind. I mean, that statement went through my head.
Untimely in the sense, like maybe in young age, as I mentioned, there was a devotee here. He just had like, I mean, his daughter. There are few devotees very young devotees who passed away here in Pune. Very nice devotees. And very unexpectedly, one devotee, he just messaged somebody the night before that, I'm getting better, and the next morning he died. But at the time of death, he said Krishna Govinda, so we know he is gone to higher destination.
Right, but in the spiritual community, people who are elevated, like on a spiritual level, like yourselves.
No,
no, Prabhu.
Not at all, Mataji.
No, of course, we are all on earth because we are full of anarthas, no doubt. But when I say like yourselves, it's because you or others who knows Krishna's hand is and everything, because you have continuous.
Not in that list, Mataji. There might be others.
Prabhu, I'm not the one to decide anyway. And so what I was trying to say is, you said that Krishna is the big planner. He arranges and he knows everything. And what I'm just thinking that in that situation, can we say as devotees, or like, I don't know, let's say, can you say when you're sitting like a guru or spiritual teacher, can you say it was untimely? Because it does, it does kind of raise a kind of how do I explain? Because
Untimely in the material sense, untimely in the material sense, but
in the material
spiritually, I
sense,
think,
but should spiritual seekers even say that at all? Because we are trying to tell everyone, look, Krishna is the one who's controlling everything, even the death. It could be that of a 6-year-old, 1-year-old, 1-month-old, but it's all timely. It's God's job. It's God's doing, it's Krishna's doing. And when we say untimely, I wanted to know your mind. What goes through the mind of devotees when they say it is untimely? Is there a spiritual reason for that?
untimely in the sense, because we are actually, although we may be on the path of devotion, but still we are speaking with people who are in material bodies, and we are ourselves in material bodies. So that's why we have to speak at the level at which people can relate to, isn't it? Many times, like we see Pankaj Angri Prabhu, he left, he was so loved by everyone. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and such wonderful, wonderful Vaishnavas, who we would never want to leave. And there were so many devotees who tried, their level best to save Pankaj Angri Prabhu. But it was Lord's plan, we have one devotee who is an Ayurvedic doctor here in Pune, Devki Sud Prabhu. So he, the devotees, they arranged for him to go to Calcutta when Pankaj Agri Prabhu was shifted to Calcutta so that, because he is a very, very good Ayurvedic doctor, and he gave Pankaj Angri Prabhu some medicines, which by which he was showing very good improvement. But then, certain situations arose which were beyond everyone's control, and he couldn't even administer medicine for a few days, because the doctors, who were taking care of, Pankaj Angri Prabhu was in a hospital, and they wouldn't allow, any external person to give any medicines, although they saw that, he was improving with those medicines. So sometimes situations are like that even with best of human endeavors, if Lord has planned it, then nobody can save. However, uh,
Yeah, you're right.
God
Just
will
like just like you said earlier regarding COVID, it's such a small thing, you can hardly see it, even in your labs. And look
yeah,
at the chaos that it's caused around the world. And the greatest of scientists and doctors cannot do anything.
yeah.
So that's where the importance of Krishna comes in, really, because no one is greater than God, whether it's about life or death. He's controlling each and every one of us.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Prabhu.
actually, the greatest illusion is we think we are the doers, that we can say, we can do anything. But we should always remember that we are just an instrument, whether it's for our own family members. Uh, we may think, if I'm not alive, what will happen to my children? What will happen to my wife, or, other dependents? But the thing is, actually, we are just instruments. Whatever they're destined to get, Krishna will make somebody else an instrument and take care of them. I'll tell you my own example that my father died when I was just 14. I was in year 9. I had just given exams for year 9, and my father passed away. And our family, he didn't have a single rupee in his bank account when he died. So now, likewise, whatever we were destined to get, somehow Krishna arranged other people, and we got according to our destiny. And so similarly, nobody is indispensable in this world. We're just instruments in whatever role we may be, as father or leader or whatever, we are not indispensable. We're just instruments. It's just out of illusion we think that how things will go on without us, but we are just instruments. And in Sankirtan we particularly see that how Krishna performs miracles. We've seen, Suparna Mataji, you distributed in 20 minutes how many Gitas, that was a record. I read.
Oh,
She
that
just
was,
made the
oh,
calls, and then so many
no,
Gitas went
but
out.
that's all.
Nobody can do that, isn't it?
Again, Prabhu, you just said that it's all Krishna everywhere. How he brought you when you were 14-year-old to where you are right now, preaching everyone and having, the kind of faith you have in Bhagwan. And I too have the same, because I had a lot of pressure from some devotees. Suparna Kaman said Gita, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I just don't have the time. But one day I just felt, come on, let me try my luck. Let's just sit down and see what happens. And the first person I tried straight away gave me 10 other people. So that's how it happened. And I was quite happy that it just happened,
Quite amazing,
That was it. That was it.
20 minutes you made distributed. Probably no distributor would have done those many Gitas in 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I forgot. I was actually inspired, not that devotees were pressurizing. Yeah, I was inspired by a video clip of one of the devotees who passed away. And I don't know, someone posted it, and he was into book distribution, and he was in a foreign body. And I saw that video with such great, my total senses were taken up by this video and this devotee, and his indifference and his trust in a Krishna, and how he predicted that his time had come just before his death, and he came and he saw his parents said goodbye. It was quite beautiful. And I just thought of him, and in his memory, with that feeling, I just thought, let me do something as a Hindu when people have done so much. And that was it. It was so simple. It could be his blessings, it could be his energy rather than mine. So I don't think so. It was me. I have not been consistent at all. Yeah. But thank you, Prabhu. Whatever you have is all coming from others,
So should we stop here, Prabhu?
Yeah, I think we've been going now.
I've already gone over time.
1 hour, 22 minutes. So yeah, I think we should stop. And I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, we will make sure that you come again and give us your association. So nostalgic having you, and it's so wonderful to hear you. And we really do miss your association. So
Prabhuji, I'm missing all of you. I mean, how much wonderful, you're doing book distribution, and how nicely you have, taught them nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion, all this. It's really, I think they're really getting nectar to hear.
Don't know about that. All I know is we would like you again and give us your association. It'd be really wonderful. And you've left a wonderful legacy in terms of the Sangha group you've created here and the devotees. They always talk about the good old times with Hari Kirtan, Prabhu.
No, somehow they tolerated me.
So thank you. We normally land up, we close our mission to all of the devotees involved. So we'll do the same, unless you got any concluding words from yourself, Hari Kirtan, Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, thanks to all of you. I hope whatever I said, actually, I need to follow in my own life. It's more for me than for any of you. I hope I'm able to live up to what I say.
No doubt about that.
Need your blessings for that.
Is it possible to get darshan of Radha Madhav and the crew, please?
I think Mataji, she would have put them to sleep now.
Oh yes, it's late. Sorry.
I'll probably send a photo tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
We'll put that through.
Thank you
So,
so much.
thank you very much, our dear devotees, for your
Hare
presence.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Association, Arikirtan Prabhu, we definitely want to see you again soon. Vancha kalpa turabhyas. Kodi Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. His Grace Harikirtan La Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanand.
Krishna Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Kirtan Prabhu ki jai.
Hey.
माताजी रिकॉर्डिंग है क्या क्लास की?
I'll send it. Don't worry. Hare.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. Have a wonderful
Yes,
weekend.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Stroud.
Thank you. Thank